Hi guys, welcome to this video. It's been some time since I made my last video, but I figured it was about time again. I've been pretty busy in real life, and that's how these things go, so here we go. This isn't a tactical video as such, but if you want to play tactically, then this is something you should probably consider as well. So this is going to be another 40k Musings video, as I'm sure you gathered from the title. So without further ado, I'm basically talking about the meta train, as I like to call it, and how there is this perception in modern 40k, which, if you are watching this in the future, this is a 7th edition, and the Tau Codex is imminent to be released in a month, so that's the point we're at. But yeah, there's this perception that to play 40k, you kind of need to keep up with the latest and greatest. You need to basically, just like play the latest army, which everyone's got the highest buffs at the moment. That's probably Eldar, a lot of people would agree, or Necrons perhaps. And then basically follow the internet wisdom, of course, on what is the best units and army to run, and basically buy all the best stuff. And every time a new codex is released, even if it's for a different faction, it comes with extra new toys. And a lot of these toys are like super heavies or gargantuan creatures, that kind of thing. And it's upping the power of the average list, which makes sense. Changing the meta, okay? And the perception is that basically to keep up, to stay competitive, to be able to fight your corner, as it were, you need to go roll with these times. Basically, you need to buy these new units yourselves. You need to buy your equivalent in your own army. You need to get in new allies if needed, if your own army doesn't have the tools for this. Basically, you've just got to hop aboard the meta train and, you know, keep up. And I do feel this is where a lot of the frustrations come from with 40k as a whole, because that way madness lies, really. It's a very expensive hobby, as I'm sure we all know. Doing that would basically drain you very, very quickly. Me personally, it takes me a good long time to get anywhere near complete with a unit that I buy. And while it's expensive, like a 25 quid box of tactical marines, say, it's going to last me months before I even get round to sorting it. Basically, I've got to build it, I've got to paint it, I've got to do all my little fancy things with that, I've got to put it into a list, and then finally it gets played. So from time to money ratio, I'm getting a fairly decent deal out of it. Now, of course, that's not true of everybody, but this is just me. But the fact is, it takes a good long time to do this, and a lot of these meta changes, or these new units and things, are big kits, or multiple kits, or lots of units that you probably wouldn't have before, because, you know, you need them for your formation, that kind of thing. So generally you are swapping your army around a lot. You're probably not getting used to what you've got before it changes again, because of course the new codex is coming out pretty much every other month, if not every month, sometimes even less than that. In the case of Dark Angels and Space Marines, I mean, wow, Dark Angels went under the radar because of all the hubbub about Space Marines, but that's probably the quickest turnaround for new codexes I've ever seen. So yeah, if you were to try and keep up with this, then yeah, you'd basically run out of money, you'd run out of time, you'd run out of resources, and you're not going to get the full benefit. And it's a slippery slope because of that, because as soon as you start on the meta train, you can't hop off. It's one of those things where as soon as you start changing your lists with the latest greatest, purely because you need it to compete, then you're going to constantly need to do that to compete, because you're not learning the armies. You're following everyone else, and whenever the meta changes, your army that you've just spent so much money and time and effort on is suddenly weak again. So you need to change it again, and as I say, that is not the way you should do it, even in the current times where it seems like all hope is lost for the person who plays the fluffy, standard, normal single codex list. It's not true at all. I can promise you right now, if you take the time and you play the army you want, you take the time to learn the army you've made, you can make anything work in 40k. Now it's true, some will have a harder time than others. But if you're careful, if you are smart about the way you play, if you are smart about the options you take, then you can make any unit work. You can more or less make any combination of units work. And that's the great thing about 40k, these things still work even in the current meta. I mean, as a Sisters player, Sisters are a powerful codex, despite what many people will say. They're a very powerful codex. But they can, they're still, well, a lot of people would rate them low tier, but you know, I say they're wrong. But the fact is, the good thing about Sisters is, they don't have anything changing. I mean, obviously it's a bad thing as well, because it would be nice to get them updated every now and then. But because they're not changing, it means I can learn how to play them properly, as could anyone else. And then I know how to use my army to its fullest, so whenever the meta changes, I don't need to change. I've got the same army, it costs me nothing. And as a result, I can still compete against the top ones out there. I don't need to hop aboard the meta train, and I don't need to get frustrated, and I don't need to basically give up on the hobby or on 40k and say this is rubbish and then go to War Machine like everyone else. So that's the thing. You basically just have to get past that. You have to put the effort in. People, I mean, the phrase is pay to win, okay? I'm not saying that everyone who follows the latest meta trend is a pay to winner, but you're going to become that if you get caught on the meta train, because you can't get off it. As soon as you start swapping around your list, you're already on that slippery slope. So it's something you've got to be careful about. Now, having said that, maybe you like the latest greatest kits, maybe you like the best units that have just come out, and something maybe you just happen to like the strongest faction in the game. That's fine. If you have your reasons for liking the factions and the units and the army you play, then you can enjoy it, you can learn it, you can tweak it yourself. And then you will do much, much better, you know. And when it changes, if you have the heart to stick with that army, you'll get a lot more success out of it, because you've been through the entire thing. Then your time will come around again, and you won't need the crutch units that everyone's telling you to buy. You won't need them. And that's another part of it, really, is the problem with following the meta train, is that you kind of become afraid of trying out your own things, and more so than that, you don't really put in the effort needed. So even if you're using the top units, you're not learning to use them properly, you don't develop the right kind of skills, you never get into that situation where your back's against the wall so much. You need to be resourceful and innovative to win. And because of that, you miss out on these skills that you would develop otherwise. And it means when things change, you're going to struggle more. And then, of course, you have to go out and buy a brand new army just to compete again. Or, as a lot of people say, yeah, my codec's rubbish, and so these are unplayable or something like that, and that's such rubbish. I mean, this is going to make me sound really snooty, but if you are one of the people who has basically blamed your codex for not being competitive and that kind of thing, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It's not your codex, it's you or your army. Now, if it's your army that's the problem, maybe you don't have many models to round it out, work on your tactics, work on your options, use some proxies, that kind of thing, until you can get by. A little bit tweaking here and there, you can do it. But otherwise, if it's your army list building and models aren't the problem, then that's on you. And again, that's your problem. And it's easy to fix. You just need to put in the effort. You need to learn things yourself. Don't follow the internet logic, okay? The internet logic 9 times out of 10 is wrong. It's completely wrong. And a lot of people basically look at things on paper and basically write them off. They won't even try it. They'll just be like, I don't see a use for this. Write it off. And then other people sometimes don't even look at the same entries and just hear it from word of mouth and regurgitate that. They're like, no, it's rubbish. They may not have even seen the unit. And then that's how they react to it. And of course it just carries on. It spirals on. And then no one uses it because the internet tells them it's wrong. Now, if someone instead was like, okay, well, I've heard all this, that it's a bad unit. I've looked at it on paper. It looks like a bad unit. I will use it myself, or test game it, or something like that. Just roll some dice against some matchups you could picture on. Even putting it in unfavourable conditions as well as favourable conditions. See what happens. May turn out that, yeah, it's not right for you. You may find a way to use it. Might not be good in your list, but you might still find a way to use it. That's fine. You've come to that conclusion yourself. You've developed that knowledge and those skills that you have learnt yourself. Okay, do not trust other people's words on things. And I know that is a bit hypocritical because obviously I'm making this video, and then I'm saying, yeah, don't trust people's words, especially on the internet. It's fine to get advice. Okay, it's fine to be pointed in the right direction. Sometimes you're a bit stumped. Despite your best intentions, despite how hard you try, you're a bit stumped on where to start. Checking out the internet may give you brand new ideas, but whenever you see an idea, or whenever you see someone who has basically written off a unit or some kind of thing in an army and says it won't work, always question it, because, as I say, 9 times out of 10, that assessment is wrong. Or they just haven't thought about it in the same way you would, or they won't get to use it in the same way you would, and they haven't unlocked its full potential. So that's effectively it. It's a dangerous cycle to get in, but if you really want to enjoy your 40k, if you really want to get to be the best player you possibly can be with any army, any force, any combination of units, that kind of thing, if you always want to have it be a challenge for your opponents, and basically make the full use of the army that you have and the army you actually want to play, then this is what you need to do. Do not hop on that meta train, okay? Stay on the station platform. Alright guys, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully it was useful. Maybe it made you think about things, maybe you completely disagree with me. If that's the case, then feel free to comment below. If you have any questions, again, leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you like this video, remember to click like, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, and of course tactical videos in the future. Thanks for watching.